Hey, just wanted to let you know, dinner's ready almost, and, what are you doing? Oh, you're playing League. Just be careful, like, make sure you play Azir a lot, because lately it's just been, like, hasn't been, like, gameplay, and I've just been kind of, playing things, so just make sure you play Azir a bunch so I get some footage. That's all. I can't hear you. No. No.
What does Neeko do with power?
Nice! Nice! Oh! just gonna start every video with just a clap. Hello everyone, welcome. My name is Alex and we are here with another champion guide for League of Legends. So I've been kind of, okay, look, I know that I'm an Azir, like my main thing on this channel is playing Azir, but just hold on for a second. Just before you start tippy tapping on the keyboard and telling me, oh, I subscribe to look, I play other champions too, and I really like Neeko right now, and yeah, that's what it's just Neeko is just so much fun, dude. It's just so much fun. There's so much like mind games you can play with her. You can do all sorts of fun stuff. I mean, it's just the fact that you can turn into other people and then like trick people. That's the best part. And it doesn't happen a whole lot if people are paying super attention. But if you can catch people off guard, it feels the best. So today we're gonna talk about Neeko and all about her. We're going to go over what she does, like how she does in lane, her runes. I'm gonna add runes to these videos now because I made the rune video for Azir, and I thought, well, why don't I just add runes to the guide videos as well? That way I don't have to make like a separate rune guide for everyone. For him it was special because he can work with a whole lot of runes now. And it's like there's a lot of different options for him. I'm not saying there aren't a lot of different options for other champions, but for him specifically, it's been really difficult to pick a rune set that I really like, and I kind of just wanted to put that out there, the ones that I do use, and see what you guys think. But we're gonna include runes in these now because I'm changing things. So what does Neeko do? How does she do in lane? She's a mid laner, obviously. You can play her in different places, like you can play her top lane too, I guess, but I'm a mid laner, so I play her mid. But she's a great control mage, super huge AoE damage with her ultimate, and she's super safe. As far as the laning phase and mid game goes, you're going to feel pretty safe as far as playing Neeko against pretty much any champion. Assassins can't really deal with you really well because your ultimate's pretty dangerous. If you can time it properly, you're not going to get bursted down, and they're going to get stunned and stuff like that, so you can get away safely, or you can burst them back, try to kill them, stuff like that. Anyone in melee range like that, like I said, assassins are going to be pretty scared of you. Now, that being said, you have to land your E, your little tangle spin, because otherwise if you miss that, you're gonna be pretty dead in the water. If you don't hit that ability or your ultimate, then it's just gonna be, well, you're dead, obviously. Missing abilities is bad. So yeah, not many bad matchups as far as it goes. The only real bad matchup that I found really is anything that is outranging you. When you're not super long range, even though your Q has a decently long range and you can make your E hit pretty long ranges as well, but things like Vel'Koz, Syndra, Xerath, they kind of dick on you a little bit if they are proficient at like staying decently far back out of the range of your abilities and poking you with their long range abilities as well. So you're gonna have a hard time with them. Also, people with CC that kind of CC you before you can run up to them, that's also a big no-no. So the other thing is her roaming is so good. Her roaming is amazing. If you can transform me into the jungler and you can play around that, but like say, okay, my jungler is here and they're not in vision, hopefully, you can just walk up to someone as the jungler and they're like, oh wow, that's the jungler. No, it's me, I'm Neeko, and Neeko knee. And you can just bop them with your ultimate and stuff like that. But I found that I roam with her way more than other champions that I played. I can clear the wave and I can leave lane and come back pretty quickly as well, since I have movement speeds and stuff like that. I can help out wherever I need to. I also find I'm a lot more alert since it's a lot easier to CS and clear her with her as well. So those are some things that might make you want to play Neeko, but that's just an overall general view of Neeko. But let's now talk about her abilities. Oh no, runes. We're gonna talk about runes. Runes. We're talking about runes, not abilities. We're going to talk about runes and core items. I forgot. I have the outline right here in front of me. Just bear with me while I do this differently than normal. So for runes, we're going for a more control build. So, and I kind of said that she's kind of a control mage with her abilities and stuff like that. She can kind of CC the whole enemy team with her ultimate. She can also do the same thing with her E. She's very much like, she has a lot of CC. You want to add to that control with Glacial Augment. Glacial Augment is the keystone you will bring. You can bring other damaging ones like Electrocute or Dark Harvest and stuff like that, but I think, and most people really prefer Glacial Augment just so that you can land your abilities properly. And also building into Hextech GLP, which is one of the core items. You're not, again, I've talked about Hextech GLP in the past, how it's an amazing item. I love it on, actually, I love playing it on Azir. I love it more on Neeko because it really, you're not losing much by not taking Luden's Echo. I actually have been really not liking Luden's Echo as an item since it costs so much, and it really just doesn't seem to be worth it, especially if you're behind. Building Hextech GLP is a much more cost-efficient way to get to Power Spike really early, and also gives you control in team fights and stuff like that if you're using Glacial Augment. So Glacial Augment is the keystone you're going to bring. Aside from that, Magical Footwear, Biscuits, and Cosmic Insight. Cosmic Insight because, well, you want to have shorter cooldowns, and Magical Footwear because you want to run fast, and getting boots for free is nice. You don't have to spend money on boots. As far as secondary runes, or your secondary rune set, I bring Cheap Shot and Ingenious Hunter. Cheap Shot because you're going to be CCing people. The true damage is kind of nice early game. And then Genius Hunter because you want to use your Hextech GLP a lot more often. And the other items that you're going to be building that do the same thing as the Hextech GLP. So your active items will be shorter. So Zonias and stuff like that's going to be shorter. Meaning you can use it much more often. You'll be a lot safer. And yeah, those are the runes I build. If you have any better ideas, give me a shout out, tell me in the comments. But those are the ones that I use, and I'm pretty sure everyone uses Glacial Augment. So yeah. So your core items, I spoke of one, Hextech GLP. It's an amazing item. I won't talk about it anymore aside from that because I keep talking about how amazing I think it is. It's an awesome item. I'm building it everywhere. The other item is the Spooky Ghosts. I think it's called, I call it Spooky Ghosts because they send out it actually says they send out Spooky Ghosts. It's called Twin Shadows, I think, but it's Spooky Ghosts. It's Spooky Ghosts, okay? The Spooky Ghosts gives you, it's like 70 AP and movement speed, so it's really good. It also procs your Glacial Augment as well, since it slows the enemies that it hits, so it's also a useful tool in that regard. They're also a good scouting tool, so if you're running around roaming or something like that, or if you're running around trying to see if they're Baron or something like that, just scouting in general, it's a good scouting item to help you see things. Core items, runes, we're now moving on track with things, going along, making things changing. Now let's talk about her abilities. So I'm gonna put her passive last, actually, because it's the most interesting part of her kit and is my favorite part of her kit, and the way that it interacts with her ultimate. I'll talk about that in the mechanics part, but I'm gonna talk about her passive last. But her Q is called Blooming Burst. It sends out little, like, I don't know, it's a seed? I think it's the seed. Yeah, it propels a seed, deals some magic damage. If it hits a champion, it's going to actually hit, it'll bloom. It like blooms, it explodes basically, and it'll explode 3 times if a champion's inside the detonation zone. If a champion leaves the detonation zone for any reason, then it won't bloom anymore. If it kills a minion or an enemy, it will also bloom a second and third time for each time it's killed something. So it's the reason that wave clearing is so easy is because once you get like Lost Chapter, you can just hit the back wave, like the caster minions, and there'll always be like one minion that's a little bit lower than the other one, so it will do the blooming and it will kill the back minions, guaranteed most of the time. Her W is called Shape Splitter. It's called her W is called Shape Splitter. It's a weird word, but it's called Shape Splitter because you when you activate it, you camouflage cloak is you basically go invisible for like a second. You make a clone of yourself, and it just like goes in the whatever direction you have pointed your, like whatever direction you want it to go into, it will go that way, and you can walk in the other direction or whatever. So basically you make a clone of yourself, and it's supposed to like fuse the enemy. I've done that many times actually, using the shape splitter clone to confuse people and then juke them and stuff like that. Really useful. You also gain some bonus movement speed when you use it, so it's a good escape tool if you're in lane or something like that. You just want to like run away from someone. The other part of shape splitter is you get a passive. It's very similar to like, think of any sort of like auto attack buff passive. So every third auto attack you have is enhanced and does extra magic damage. It is instant. It's basically, instead of like a projectile, it's a laser. You shoot a laser. A lot of the champions I play shoot lasers. I mean, Zoe shoots a laser, Zir shoots a laser, and now Neeko shoots a laser, and it's like, I think there's something about lasers that I inherently like. So non-projectiles, it must have to do with something like, there's a champion out there that like blocks projectiles, I think. I think it has something to do with the wind, but I'm not sure. That might be why I love non-projectile champions. It's just great, you know, having a non-projectile is wonderful, all right? Just saying, all right? Your E is called Tangle Barbs. It shoots at this little like ring, and it goes through enemies basically. And if it hits an enemy, the more enemies that it hits, it'll actually extend not only the route duration, but the size and the speed that it goes. It's a good way just to surprise them and snare them and their minions and stuff like that. Second to last is your ultimate called Pop Blossom. When you activate it, you jump. Neeko jumps in the air for like a few seconds, gains a shield, and then slams back down, dealing a bunch of damage and stunning opponents inside the circle around her. The only thing you have to really worry about this skill is that the edge of the ability is really like, you want to land this ability effectively. You kind of want them to be the enemy to be as close to you as possible, because otherwise they can just walk out of it. If they're kind of near the edge of the circle, just walking away from you is going to be enough, because when you start casting it, you actually keep moving, but when Neeko jumps in the air, you can't move it. It roots you in place until you slam on the ground and deal the damage and stun them. So now her passive. Okay, her passive is called Inherent Glamour. It basically means you'll get a little like thing that kind of like, if you've played Kindred before, you could see, or you've played Rengar or something like that, a little like box will pop up above your like items and stuff, and I'll have like circles, and each of the circles will be your allies, and you can turn into any of your allies, and you'll have the appearance of your allies, their health at the current time that you transformed into them, and whatever skin they're using. It's a great way to steal skins. You can auto attack while being disguised and stuff like that, and it'll have all the animations and stuff. It takes on whatever form your ally was in. Like if they have, say they have Rift Herald, they have the weird purple around them, or if they have red buff or blue buff or something like that, you will have all of those aesthetic looks to make you look exactly like them. Their auto attacks will be the same as well. So you'll be basically them until you use one of your abilities, your E or your Q, or you take damage. One of those three things has to happen in order for you to be not disguised anymore. If you use your shape splitter, your W, to make a clone, the clone and you will look the same. And obviously, you know, that's to like confuse people and stuff like that. There's some things you can do with the disguise that I want to talk about, and this is kind of where we'll segue into the mechanics portion of this. I already talked about how you can use your E through enemies to empower it to increase the route duration, stuff like that. It's kind of very simple stuff. But the really fun thing, and this is the one reason I really love Neeko. I've been finding out, I've been kind of like, I think at least that I've been kind of getting good at doing this, and I'm gonna add in some like tips, a tip here for you. So when you're disguised, you can activate your ultimate. Now, your ultimate has that initial like cast time. You have a wind up time, so it's like a 1 1/4 second wind up time. During that time, if you are disguised, no, your enemies will not see the ultimate until you explode, like until you go up and down. So until you're rooted and then you explode. So keeping that in mind, it's a great way to sneak up on someone. Like say for example, you're getting into a fight And I do this all the time, actually. I'll disguise as someone. It doesn't matter who. Like, I don't care if we're getting into like a team fight or something. If I'll disguise as someone, and I will, if I'm in a good position, I will actually just start the ultimate and walk up to the enemy team. And this basically means they have pretty much a half a second window to either flash away or do something to keep me from stunning all of them and dealing a bunch of damage to all of them. I do it a lot also. I mean, if you're in a bush and stuff like that, obviously they can't see your ult if you activate it. I do that also as well. But the bottom line, is using your passive properly, making sure you're disguising a lot, as often as possible when you leave lane. I mean, disguising doesn't really work unless you're in a team fight and you want to do what I said before, where you just disguise and make sure your ultimate's disguised. But walking around disguised is really good because you never know what's going to happen if you're going to run into someone and they're just going to walk up to you, and you may be able to surprise them with flash and stuff like that. You can flash while you're ulting as well. You can also use Zhonya's in the mid-air while you're ulting, but it will still shield you and stun people and deal damage as well. So it's a good way if you're in the middle of a team fight and you think you're just gonna get blown up because you don't know if your team's gonna be able to follow up with your stun. So yeah, that's it. That's all of Neeko and everything. Hopefully you got something out of this. If you really enjoyed the video, hit the like button. If you didn't like the video, you can also hit the dislike button. And if you want to watch more from me, hit the sub button. Leave a comment down below. Tell me if you play Neeko. Tell me if you really like Neeko as a champion. Will you pick up Neeko now that you kind of learned a little bit about her? Also, tell me, not that I didn't know this before. I knew this when she first came out, but if you didn't know this, did you know that you could disguise her ultimate using her passive? Tell me if you knew that, and if this helps you out, let me know too if you really enjoyed it. Leave it down in the comments, give me feedback, and also hit the bell button, so you get a notification whenever I make a video. Or I keep saying when I make a video. When I upload a video. When I upload a video, I get a notification. Anyway, enough of me rambling on about things. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!